Good morning, Life Point Church, and happy Monday morning. I'm very excited to be bringing us the devotions this week and for what God has in store for us. This was a big weekend in Life Point Church. We have officially moved to Lily Lake, and I am so excited to worship with you on this miracle property that God has given us. I'm excited about what God is doing at Life Point, and I'm excited to be part of it. Today, we're going to talk about something that I'm actually going to deviate from the lesson on. I know that today is Toot Your Flute Day. It's an international day of the year. You've probably never celebrated it or even heard of it. It sounds a lot like blow your own horn, an old expression that means bragging or boasting about yourself and your accomplishments. Neither of these sayings is about music, but about talking. The basic idea is that we ought to broadcast our accomplishments and let people know what we've done. Now, the rest of this lesson is about humility and about being humble and about giving glory to other things instead of yourself. And that is all very, very true. The Bible does have a lot to say about humility. It has a lot to say about humbling yourself under the mighty hand of God so that He may exalt you at the proper time. It says that the Lord gives grace to the humble. It says, whoever humbles himself, like this child, this one is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. All of these are very important words, but I want to deviate from the lesson for just a second. We live in a world, especially right now, that is struggling with anxiety and is struggling with depression. And as somebody who has struggled with both of these things in the past, I want to say that yes, it is important to be humble. And yes, it is important to give God the glory for your accomplishments. But there is nothing wrong with noticing when you do something right. When we get in these states of depression and anxiety, it's easy to look at our lives and say, I've done nothing, I'm horrible, I am nothing, and to really tear yourself apart. And that just leads to more depression and more anxiety and more problems. You begin to see yourself as someone who is not worth loving. You begin to see yourself as someone who is faking it. You begin to see yourself as not making any progress and not doing anything right. None of those are from God. So, one of the things that has helped me through this battle is to notice when I do something right. To write down, I made progress today in. I showed up and I did something right in this. If there's something that you're working on fixing, notice and pat yourself on the back when you do something right. Should you stand up and say, I've got all the answers? No, we should point people to God. But God gave us the ability to make changes in our lives. And sometimes those changes are very, very hard to do. So what I want you to do today, at the beginning of this week, is to lay aside the thought distortions that have grabbed hold of your mind, told you that you're nothing, told you that you can't do anything right. Lay them aside and pick up a mantle of godliness, a godly view of yourself, and say, I may not be perfect, but I am doing my best. And I noticed myself do my best in this thing, and I'm going to reward myself and congratulate myself. Humility is very important. Pointing people to God instead of ourselves, absolutely essential. But today, if you are racked by depression or anxiety, I want you to look at this a little bit of a different way. To humble yourself under God is to say, God, I may not understand what you've done. I may not see myself the best way, but you have said I am of value. So I choose to humble my opinion, my thought distortion, my thing underneath your hand and say, if God says I'm of value, then I am of value. And recognize that in yourself today. I pray that this is ministered to you. I pray that you walk forward in this day, blessed by God and knowing that He is on your side and fighting with you. God bless you today.